Hey guys, James Lynch here doing a quick reaction video to the news that Sage Northcutt is no longer with the UFC. This is according to UFC President Dana White, who went on the UFC Unfiltered podcast and basically said the following: "We let Sage go. Sage is young and Sage needs some work. Let's get him some work with other organizations and we will see where this kid ends up in a couple of years. Maybe we'll pick him back up again. His contract was up, so we let him go." This makes sense for a few reasons. First off, I think it's been well documented that Sage was paid pretty handsomely by the UFC in his career, and it didn't seem like they were getting much of a return on their investment. I know Sage has a pretty good record. He's 11-2 overall and 6-2 in the UFC, and he's still relatively young, being 22 years old. But I think it's one of those things where I don't think the UFC was getting their worth with what they were paying him. And imagine if your employer comes to you and says, "Hey, we're not going to pay you this much. We're going to pay you a little bit less." I don't blame him for looking on the open market. So that's the big question. Where does he end up? I think there's two promotions that sort of stand out here. The first one is One Championship. Sage Northcutt going to a press conference recently for them. He was invited out there, so I think there's some headway there as far as him signing there, and that makes sense. I mean, he looks like a Dragon Ball Z character. He's a friendly guy. It seems like he would do quite well in the Asian market, and this might be the best thing for him because the focus will be on him. He won't get lost in the shuffle in the UFC. And then, of course, the other option is Bellator. Bellator, notorious for signing a lot of free agents from the UFC, so that's a possibility as well. Northcutt is coming off actually a pretty impressive win in his last fight. He got that knockout over Zach Otto. So again, his stock is pretty high at this point. So I think this is a good move. Sage could go out there, make some noise outside the UFC, and then return back. Because again, he's only 22 years old. And again, he is a pretty marketable guy. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think this was a good move by the UFC? Where do you think Sage is going to end up fighting? Let's hear it. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Lynch on Sports. And by all means, subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/Lynch on Sports, where you'll find my reaction videos, my podcasts, and of course, my fighter interviews. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you have a great day.